Alright, today I'm going to speak about validation and people believing you. And it's something that's been kind of on my mind here and there, and something I need to clarify because, a lot of people ask me about it, and it's kind of hard to explain. But I have this YouTube channel, and a lot of people that I know in person know about it. I mean, they know of it, but they don't know what it is or what I'm actually posting here, so on and so forth. I've given them like the basic TLDR, just talking out loud, working through thoughts and giving some advice here and there. But I've not ever shown it to anyone, and I'll explain why. And it's kind of a story of belief and belief in yourself and gratification. So no one's gonna believe in you at first, and that's normal, right? None of your family really will understand what you're doing, or have any reason to believe in you until you show them, and that's not necessarily bad. Your friends and family won't believe in the things you do, especially if you're trying to change yourself for the better, like I am, for example, with this YouTube channel and trying to make something of it. They don't have any reason to, because they don't quite understand what you understand, right? People only really respect the results and not really respect the potential, and it's not their fault. That's perfectly normal to respect results and not respect potential, because everyone's got a lot of potential, but not everyone takes action, okay? And people close to you might not necessarily support you, because they hate you, because they just can't see the things you see in yourself. Not always. Because when you see potential in someone else, when you specifically see potential in someone else, that's what you would do in their shoes, almost, right? It's not exactly what they can actually accomplish or what they want to accomplish. It's just what you would do if you were in their position. And they're not in your position, they're in their own position, and they don't see the same potential that you see, because they haven't had the same experiences or learnt the same things or figured out the same things that you have. Sure, they maybe figured out different things, maybe they're ahead of you in other areas, but they don't necessarily understand why you're doing this, because they don't have the experiences needed or the understanding of the thing you're doing to basically have any reason to see that potential and believe in that potential. If they've never grown up, for example, I'll give an example of myself, right? If they've never ever seen in their life anyone close to them blow up online, for example. I mean, I'm not looking to blow up, I'm looking to build an audience, but they've never seen anyone really do that in person, right? So you can't expect them to see that in you if they've never even seen it in anyone else. Whereas if for example, let's just come up with an example. Say your dad played a sport or something, right? For example, and you then start picking up this sport. Your dad can see potential in you because he sees some of his younger self in you. That's just an example, to show you what that is. But if you start picking something completely different up, like business, for example, and your dad's never been into business, completely arbitrary example, by the way, but then he's not really going to understand the potential that you have, because he doesn't understand the field, and that's fine. And you shouldn't expect people to understand you or get depressed when they don't. You need to understand that people immediately around you may not necessarily be exactly like you, and that's fine. And they'll know the past version of you. They'll know the version that they've known all their life, but they won't know the one that you're trying to build, because they've just never met them before. They've never seen what that person's capable of, right? And seeking the approval of your friends and family, while this is harsh to say, will slow you down. Showing your friends your YouTube channel, might be good if you've got really good supportive friends. Same with your family. But for 99% of you, if you're anything like me, you know damn well that showing this to your parents will slow you down, because they'll start telling you about what they think you should be focusing on. And don't get me wrong, you should listen to your parents and whatnot, but certain things you just need to let people dislike and do it anyways, because you just have to believe that you will make it work, right? So your belief in yourself needs to come first, because you're not ever going to be able to generate the results to prove to them that that this is a viable path, right? I'm speaking really generally, because I know a lot of you probably have different things that you're working on, but you need to believe in yourself first, to then later on maybe seek belief in your close friends and family. Because the confidence shouldn't come from, you know, those immediately around you. It should come from proving to yourself that you're capable. And once you can prove that to yourself, maybe by, for example, for me, that would be by building a small audience on YouTube, right? If I built like an audience of like 200 subscribers or something and got like a couple hundred views consistently, that's enough evidence to me that what I'm doing is worth it, and what I'm doing, you know, has the results that it needs for the time being to yield something great in the future. It's kind of weird to explain, but once I get those results, then maybe I can start showing people, because then they'll have an actual reason to think, oh shit, this thing that he's been doing this whole time actually does work. It could work. You know, maybe they'll start believing in it after they've seen some sort of results. But until then, it's not in your best interest to be showing your people, you know, your friends and family, what you're working on, because it's not worth it. I've had this a lot where, like, I've told people around me, oh, I want to do this, I want to start this business, I want to make money, I want to do whatever. And they just don't get it, because they've never really experienced anyone do that before, nor have they, let alone, experienced someone succeed in doing that before. Maybe they've seen people, you know, with the same ambition who just fail because they're all talk, right? So you're better off just being all act and no talk, you know? And, you know, the sad part is that even after it all works out, people will act like they were always there for you, even though you know damn well that if you had shown them this beforehand, they would not like it. They would hate on you for, you know, for trying, because you're doing something they just don't understand, and that's fine. All you need to do is understand that you're your best ally. You can only really trust yourself with these things, and you have to have the belief in yourself that you can make it work, because you cannot outsource that belief to anyone else until people start listening to you, or, you know, watching your content, or, you know, using your artwork, or whatever the hell it is that you're doing. You know, we're all in our own little boat, but the same kind of rules apply to everyone. And once you do succeed, you know, then you'll have the results, like I was mentioning earlier, to prove to them that this is viable, and give them a reason to believe in you. At the moment, you don't have the leverage for that, because you don't have the results. So don't go around necessarily showing, you know, your friends and family, if you know even at all that they're not going to be supportive of it, don't go around showing them, because you're not going to get any respect out of that. You're not going to get any respect out of showing them something incomplete, right? In the same way that you know, if you had some really, really important homework to do, or you had a project at work, you know, people will only respect you once you've done it. No one's going to respect you when you're waving around saying you're going to do it, or look at this, I've started doing it, or whatever. A start is not enough to show people, right? And this is exactly that. Whatever you're working on is like a big project, like a homework project, right? And you can't be showing off the start expecting people to be, you know, to respect it and to give you validation for it when you haven't even done it yet. Doing it is getting to that milestone that you want to reach, and the milestone for me, for example, is like a couple hundred subscribers on this channel, so that I can then prove to people, look at what I've done so far, look at this. You know, sure, a couple hundred still in its infancy. I mean, eventually, you know, this could go to thousands if it ever got big, but the point is, you've done something that they weren't expecting, that they haven't done, and they don't really quite understand what it takes to get that thing. But the point is, you've done it, and now they can respect you. But for the time being, if you're not in that stage yet, you're basically all talk to them, right? Even though you know that you have that potential, you're practically just all talk to these people. And I say these people, I'm talking about your loving friends and family. And, you know, it's hard. I know it's hard when you're on your own with these things, but you just have to have faith in yourself. And that's where it all starts. It's faith in yourself before you expect to be able to outsource that faith from others. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. If you like this sort of content, check out my other stuff on YouTube. It's literally right there. And yeah, take care, man. Love it. See ya.